The stark, white wilderness of Antarctica. Harsh, cold, and inhospitable, it's hard to imagine life here. But for millions of years, the ancestors of these Adelie penguins have called this region home. At around 70 centimeters tall, they are the smallest but most common of all Antarctic penguin species. During the winter, they'll live here, on these ice packs and in the freezing cold oceans. In large colonies, they travel many kilometers each day. As the weather becomes warmer, they will start their long march to return to their breeding grounds. By the time they've reached their destination, they can have waddled, slipped, and slid between 1,000 and 3,000 kilometers. And they've developed quite a reputation, particularly among scientists and explorers, for their cautious nature when entering the ocean, often collecting in large groups to determine who will enter the water first, because their main predator, the leopard seal, will often be lying in wait. This loner looks lost, its colony nowhere in sight, and a dismal figure in this hostile landscape. Its survival may depend on finding its family. While appearing ungainly and clumsy on land, these penguins move with amazing speed and agility in the water. They eat a diet of krill, squid, small fish, and other crustaceans. Adelie penguins nest in rocky rookeries, which they will continue to return to year after year. They make their nests and breed in the summer, at the warmest time of the year. Competition for these nesting sites can be fierce, and more dominant birds will often make their nests in the middle of the colony, where they are better protected from marauding predators like the seabirds. A mating pair will build a nest of stones and pebbles, which they will carefully carry and drop into place. It's not uncommon for these birds to try to steal petals from each other's nests. Both parents will share incubation and chick-rearing duties. Adelie penguins have a small patch of bare skin on their stomachs, which has no feathers and is used to cover the eggs so they are fully protected. Both the male and female will lie down on their eggs to keep them warm until they hatch in about a month's time. To cope with inactivity during this time, these penguins can lower their body temperature by 4 degrees Celsius. They have to stay alert for predators, including seabirds, who like to take advantage of the breeding season. Once the chicks are born, they're kept warm by their parents and fed regurgitated food. When they're 3 to 4 weeks old, they will huddle with other chicks for warmth, while their parents travel further to find better food, to quell growing appetites. It's estimated that there are between 2.5 to 4 million breeding pairs in the Antarctic region. However, the World Wildlife Foundation is predicting that up to 75% of these penguins could decline or disappear if global warming increases temperatures by just 2 degrees Celsius. So while the Adelie penguins have managed to adapt to this harsh environment, they'll need to adjust to their biggest challenge, with climate change their most formidable adversary yet. The savanna plains in Africa are home to a myriad of amazing creatures, and none more human-like than the baboon. Baboons are considered sacred creatures in some cultures, and in Egyptian mythology, the baboon god Babi was worshipped. Baboons are found across a wide range of habitats in Africa and southwestern Arabia. Baboons are scavengers and eat whatever food is available: seeds, Bark, sap, leaves, buds, flowers, and grasses make up a major part of their diet. Some baboons live in dense tropical evergreen forests, others in rocky cliffs or grasslands. Baboons normally forage for a few hours in the morning, rest during the heat of the day, and then forage again in late afternoon, retiring at dusk. Baboons are social creatures and live in hierarchical troops which can have as many members as 250. Males are twice the size of the females, and a small few normally dominate the troop. Females born into the troop will normally stay there for life. However, many of the males leave when they reach maturity and will often move in and out of other troops. Many fights can break out by the males over the status in the troop, access to females, and food. Baboons are adaptable at not only foraging for food, but can live successfully in the heat of the savanna, which can reach temperatures of 40 degrees Celsius. They can survive for long periods without water by licking dew off their fur. And while they regularly feed on bark and leaves, these omnivores will eat small antelopes, birds, shellfish, hares, and small monkeys. Their diet will change depending on availability and opportunity. For the olive baboon, which commonly lives in the savanna, deer makes up to a third of their diet. The baboons are cunning and will catch their prey through stalking and surrounding it. But their big appetite has also gotten them into big trouble. One of the baboon's major threats is man, as they are considered an agricultural pest by farmers because they often raid crops for fruit, vegetables, and grains. They've also been known to attack domestic goats and sheep, but will sometimes take on even bigger prey. Females give birth to one infant a year after a 6-month gestation. The mother is the primary caregiver. However, this role can be shared among other females in the troop. Babies are carried by the mother on her stomach when she travels. As they get bigger, the juveniles get to travel on her back. They are weaned at about 12 months old. Apart from man, lions, leopards, cheetahs, hyenas, chimpanzees, and some wild dogs are their biggest threat. But these cunning creatures can often outwit them, with males often banding together, raising their eyebrows, baring their teeth, and screeching, which can scare their predators off. As another hot African day begins to cool, the troop becomes more active. Juveniles will come out to play, which teaches them valuable life skills, including climbing, running, gripping, and feeding. And while they play, the adults will sit in small groups grooming each other. Mutual grooming is a way of forming bonds among individuals and keeping them free of parasites. Compared to many other primates, baboons have continued to survive reasonably well in the wild, with their range still widespread despite the threats of man and habitat destruction. They are considered endangered, but of least concern compared to other animals now facing extinction. Baboons have an amazing ability to adapt to a wide range of habitats and food sources, which should ensure that they will continue to be an important part of our lives for many decades to come. Many of Australia's water birds are nomadic, flying long distances to find food supplies and nesting sites. Pelicans traveling in formation could turn up just about anywhere around the continent where there are suitable conditions. These tranquil, shallow waters of a coastal estuary, like many along Australia's east coast, are a haven for our